Hello, guys. Come on in. Freedom Now. I'm Latoya McBean Pompey, an immigration lawyer in New York, working with clients nationwide at McBean Law. Come on in and type in Freedom Now. Also, let's do a quick audio check on Facebook, on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Give me some thumbs up. Let me know that the audio is good, crystal clear on your end as you're coming in. Today is January 19th, Martin Luther King birthday, celebrated here in the United States to commemorate such an important civil rights icon. Without Dr. King's work and his life and legacy, I wouldn't be here today in front of you. Okay, I would not be here today in front of you. So our office is actually closed today in honor of Dr. King during this time, but I had to come in because I wanted to be live before you today. Type in Freedom Now, guys. I see that the audio is great on YouTube. The reason for that is because I do not have any external audio connected to you at this time. And Instagram, how is it on Instagram? Let me know on Instagram how things are sounding on your end. Those of you who are on Instagram, give me some thumbs up and let me know that it is good. Freedom now, freedom now, freedom now. Let's go Instagram. Let me know. Also TikTok. Let me know how things are sounding on your end. Awesome. We're going to talk about some very important immigration news, and I'm going to thank you, Instagram. I see it. Sound is great. Thank you. Thank you, TikTok. It's great. We're going to talk about some important immigration news, and then we're going to go right into your Q&A, okay? We're going to go right into the Q&A shortly thereafter. Our phone lines are open today as well, friends, so you could reach out to us today and book your consultation. We can be reached at 914-898-9488 or go to McBeanLaw.com's website where you will see our contact information. Let's bring positive energy and vibes here today. I was thinking about where do I begin? Do I begin here in the United States or do I begin with the global news first? And so I'm actually going to touch on the global news first, and then we're going to end right here at home in the United States as far as what's happening here. Okay, globally, guys, let's touch on a big thing that is impacting potentially millions of people around the world today, and also U.S. citizens and green card holders who are trying to bring their loved ones to the United States. It's also going to impact companies who are trying to bring qualified workers to the United States through the green card process, and it has to do with the suspension of visa processing, immigrant visa processing for 75 nations that the Trump administration announced officially last week. The State Department on its website, and I'm going to pull this up for you guys right now so that you could see this. If you'd like to see what the rest of the folks who are joining today's live show is seeing, just head over to McBean Immigration TV on YouTube. Now, the State Department, let's see if I could get into it. The State Department provided some clarification, if you want to call it that. Maybe I'll call it that. I don't know. Provided more information. How about that? About how this visa pause is going to work for those 75 countries. Now, they say here that this is effective January 21st, 2026. The Department of State is pausing all visa issuances to immigrant visa applicants who are nationals of the following countries, and there are 75 countries that are on this list. And what they are saying also is that this is an indefinite pause. I did see somewhere on social media from an ambassador, Antigua's ambassador to the United States. I saw a blurb. I cannot verify this. I have no idea whether this is accurate or not because the U.S. government has not put this out there in the world. But I saw a statement from the ambassador saying that this is going to be a 60-day pause. I really hope and pray that it is 60 days. Again, the U.S. government has not said that. So once the U.S. government confirms this, guys, I will be sure to bring this news to you. Right now, our government here in the US says that this is indefinite, and they're doing this so that they could figure out how to prevent foreigners from becoming a financial burden to Americans. The Department of State is undergoing a full review of all policies, regulations, and guidance to ensure that immigrants from these high-risk countries do not utilize welfare in the United States or become a public charge. That's the rationale for this. Although our system already has a way of sifting through folks to determine whether they will become a public charge or not. The government has selected these 75 countries to place on this pause list. The FAQs, frequently asked questions, provides a little bit of insight here into how this is what they're thinking. First of all, the first question that they have here is, what happens to my immigrant visa interview appointment? And I've been getting a lot of your questions about this issue as well. Let's shift this over slightly here so that you guys could see this better. What happens to my immigrant visa interview appointment? The government says here that they will that folks can continue to submit their visa applications and attend interviews, and the department will continue to schedule applicants for appointment, but no immigrant visas will be issued to these nationals during this pause. So they want you to go all the way until the end, and then to say to you, we're going to place you in administrative process, and we cannot issue the visa to you at this time during this pause. This is a problematic issue, I think, on my end, especially if this really is indefinite, because certain documents will expire and they will require you to pay more fees to do this all over again. And so that's the big gripe that I have with them having you go all the way till the end. The second question on their website is, are there any exceptions? They've noted only one exception here, and it says dual nationals applying with a valid passport of a country that is not listed above or exempt from this pause. So if you are a dual national of another country that's not on this 75 list, then you can use that to process your case. That's nationality to process your case. The third question is, does this affect my current valid visa? No immigrant visas have been revoked as part of this guidance. And for questions regarding your admission to the United States, we refer you to the DHS, Department of Homeland Security. So they're saying that certainly, well, here's what I believe this to mean. If you already have a valid visa, you could enter the United States. They're not revoking your visa, provided that you've received that visa before January 21st, when this will go into effect. And then the last question that they have on their website is, does this apply to tourist visas? And the answer is no. This pause is specifically for immigrant visa applicants. Tourist visas are non-immigrant visas. So you could still come to the United States on your tourist or visitor visa. Students could also come here. F1 students could also come here. I believe K1s as well, because K1 is a non-immigrant visa, as well the fiance visa. However, like I've been saying, I believe that there are a couple of some posts, I don't know the number off the top of my head, that looks at the K1 as a immigrant visa, but it's a non-immigrant visa, okay, for the most part. So those are the big updates that the State Department has provided to us so far about this pause that is impacting your ability, U.S. citizens and green card holders, to bring your spouse to the United States. It's also hindering your ability to bring your children, your parents, to the U.S., and then workers through the green card process are hindered during this time. I've shared some tips with you on social media about how you can kind of get around this. Okay, let's just say it that way, get around this a little bit. So go back and watch those reels from Friday I put out a very thoughtful, I thought, reel about how US citizens who are trying to bring their spouse to the United States should think about this. So go watch that reel, and I'm happy to dive into more shortly. The second big news, I think, globally that's impacting people has to do with the visa bond. Okay, the government, our country has also extended, friends, our country has also extended the number of countries around the world where people who are applying for the visitor or tourist visa will have to put up either a 5,000, a 10,000, or a $15,000 bond in order to get the visa. Otherwise, they won't get the visa if the officer it indicates that they need this bond and they cannot afford to pay the bond. They won't get the visa. The purpose of this bond is to ensure that people will not overstay their visa in the United States. That's the rationale for this. But go take a look at the State Department Visa News website from January 8th. It's an update with a lot of countries here, mainly African countries, although I do see other countries here too, like Venezuela and some other countries are on this list. Check this out, guys, to know where you stand before you go before the U.S. Embassy for a visa. All right, now let's go over briefly into some homeland news. Homeland here in the United States. Let's start with the good news first. And the good news has to do with Minneapolis, actually. A federal judge issued a ruling on January 16th to ICE telling them that they've got to stop detaining US citizens. They've got to stop arresting people at these protests. They've got to stop using tear gas at these protests, particularly, the fact that this is unconstitutional, but they have a right. They have a right to protest. And so the judge ruled that immigration officers participating in these enforcement operations in Minneapolis may not detain, arrest, or use tear gas against peaceful protesters. The decision was prompted by a lawsuit led by the ACLU, with local activists represented in the lawsuit. And the lawsuit is challenging what's going on there and the fact that what's really required by our law. And I know some of you are saying to me on social media, the law doesn't mean anything anymore. What law? But the lawsuit is reinforcing constitutional protections by requiring reasonable suspicion or probable cause before any stop or arrest. And friends, you know that this, what's happening in Minneapolis, was really sparked. A lot of the protests that we've been seeing that we saw this weekend were sparked by the killing of Renee Nicole Good by an ICE agent a week ago. And more protests are being planned even in our area. Tomorrow there's going to be one in our area here in White Plains and all across the United States. So that's good news about the things, but let's see how that actually plays out on the ground. The other news that you should understand is that which countries are next, which cities are next. Where are they going to go to next? Where will ICE go to next? Where will we see more of the Minneapolis events? Well, they're talking about Maine, Maine, very small state, um, Maine, Philadelphia, and New York. Those three. That's what folks are talking about. Policymakers are talking about those three cities. Well, Maine is a state. Those three locations are on the radar at this time. So go back, refresh yourself on some things related to knowing your rights. I have a lot of materials out there for you, and other people have a lot of information as well. So refresh yourself in understanding what your rights are. And of course, if you're detained by ICE, you can get a private attorney on your file to see if you could be released from detention, and whether the government violated your due process rights. Okay, so with that being said, friends, we're going to go right into, and there's a lot more news, and you could see for yourself in the media that there's so much going on with the president threatening to invoke the Insurrection Act in Minnesota. Also, the administration is threatening to halt federal dollars next month, withhold those dollars, which are our dollars, taxpayer dollars, from sanctuary cities. So you have state and federal clash happening on a very strong level right now. Pay attention to what's going on. Let's go into your immigration questions today. Type in freedom now and double tap the screen on TikTok if you are enjoying today's broadcast. Come on in, guys. Um, Someone says that Paris, yes, since Paris is not on the list, well, France is not on the list. I have a relative who has an appointment tomorrow and Wednesday. Okay, I wish that person well. A whole lot of countries are not on this list, included European countries. There are just a few that are on there from Europe. Where is your office located? We're located in White Plains, New York, in Westchester County. Our address, you could find our address on our website, but you do need an appointment to meet with us. So contact the office, call us first to book your appointment with an attorney. How many months will this pause on immigrant visa last? As I've indicated, the government has said it's indefinite. I don't know how long they're going to keep this in place, but litigation is sure to be litigation is definitely on a lot of our minds right now regarding this. Let's see if it is just a 60-day pause or if it's something much more, much longer than that. Thank you, guys. Type in freedom now. Medical examinations are only good for 6 months, Kevin says. Yes, that is right, which is why if this pause is longer, then, I don't know how long the case has been in. People's cases are obviously on different timelines, but if you do go over 6 months and you haven't been interviewed yet by the embassy, then of course, you're going to face a problem. You'll have to just do things all over again and pay more fees. And that's usually what happens when they place people in administrative process, and particularly if they've been waiting for like 12 months or longer for a visa. Is it okay to travel with a 2-year green card to Jamaica? It should be fine with you still have your privilege and your right to travel on your conditional green card. You should be fine, but just ensure that you're not in removal proceedings and you do not have a criminal record before you leave the country. Freedom now, Janet. Good to see you. Thank you guys so much for being here today. Thank you for being here. Thank you for following us. Share this live session with your feed if you're joining on Facebook. Thank you. And double tap the screen on TikTok. What about people who are filing for citizenship? Someone on Instagram is asking, and they're from one of these 75 countries. Will their citizenship or their naturalization application be impacted? And at this time, the answer is no. Your application for citizenship will not be impacted because we have not heard from USCIS as of this live session on January 19th, Martin Luther King's birthday. We have not heard from USCIS that they are placing those additional new countries to their pause list. So if you have an application pending at USCIS for naturalization and you're not from one of the 39, remember there's the first batch, 39 countries. Those are the nationals who are paused right now. Those applications. Okay, let's see. Are they processing, where's the question? Are they processing the K3? We don't work on that process. It's a process that we find doesn't really make much sense. Double tap. Thank you for that. Thank you for the gifts on TikTok. Thank you very much. If you're now joining today's broadcast, I shared some immigration news related to the 75 countries that are their immigrant visa or green card process is paused. And the fact that here in the United States, a federal judge has told ICE in Minneapolis not to arrest and detain or tear gas protesters who are out there peacefully protesting. Thank you. Thank you. I will not be recapping. I'm not recapping. If you'd like to see the beginning, you'll have to watch the replay, which will be on YouTube at McBean Immigration TV. We're now going through some questions. Okay, but they took one person, a U.S. citizen, from his home. I live in Minneapolis. Yes, U.S. citizens are under attack, so to speak, are caught up in the target, I think, right now, which is a huge problem, and they will have their claims to bring. They will have their opportunity and claims that they could bring alleged constitutional violation rights, their rights under the Constitution, I should say. And even in Minneapolis, our clients, I know our clients who we've been working with are fearful. Some have actually decided that they just can't take it anymore and that they're going to depart and leave the United States. So we've actually had to counsel them on, how we're going to be able to bring them back to the United States for those who are eligible for a way back. But for others, for some people, they cannot return to the United States until a change in the law has occurred. So people in Minneapolis are really seriously considering the deportation process, self-deporting process, freedom now. If someone is ordered removed, how long? Let's see what this question is asking. How long can it take for them to become legal? If someone was removed, how long can it take for them to become legal? Angela is asking. Angela, it depends on the circumstances. That person was ordered removed by a judge. Is that person still here in the United States, or did that person were they deported? Did they leave the United States? Also, who do they have in their life? A relative or maybe a humanitarian pathway to help them get a green card. They will need a waiver if they're outside of the United States to come back into the country. There's so much to that, and it's going to be based on the individual facts and determination, but there is hope for some people who have been ordered removed. They can actually come back to the United States. Some people can return to the United States. And if you've been ordered removed and you're still here in the United States, some of you will still be able to finish the process here in the United States and become a resident. Have us evaluate what is possible for you. We have a lot of success stories on our website of people in these very situations who we've been able to help. Every case is different. There are times when we turn people away and say, unfortunately, we cannot help you, or the law doesn't allow us to do more with your case. So we will tell you that if that is in fact the case, but you should get yourself evaluated. If you have a removal order, just know that it is something that you cannot sit on any longer. Be very proactive with it, okay? Thank you. Let's see. Let's go down a little bit here. Thank you. Freedom now, guys. What will happen if I cancel my interview? What will happen if I cancel my interview? Well, excuse me, what interview? Who will be it? What are you talking about? An interview overseas at a U.S. embassy abroad? You can attempt to reschedule it, but again, this pause is indefinite, so it's advisable that you actually go to your interview if this is for the immigrant visa. If you're at that stage where you have a date, just go cooperate with their process, and hopefully this will be a short pause, and then you'll be able to get your immigrant visa at the end of the process. But do not try to finagle things right now if you already have your date scheduled. But if you'd like, obviously, for more thoughts on your individual case, speak with your lawyer, or you could contact us about this if you'd like. Freedom now, guys. Type in freedom now. Thank you so much for being with me today on Martin Luther King Jr.'s holiday. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here before you today with this opportunity to talk to you and help you in this manner. So our office is closed, but the phone lines are still open. You could book your consultation, and clients can still call and leave their messages for the team that is on their case. Freedom now. Okay, now, what if you have a pending VAWA case and you get detained? So if you have a pending case at USCIS and you're detained, have a lawyer jump on your file right away to see, first of all, can you get a bond to get out? You'll need a bond. An NTA, a notice to appear, will be issued to you, placing you in the removal system, and that you'll have two things going on. You'll have your USCIS process going and the removal case going. And so you're going to need a qualified representative lawyer to tackle both of those processes for you. It is possible for people to be detained with a pending case at USCIS. We are seeing that happen. Other lawyers are seeing that happen. And it's on an individual basis what can be done for the person. But generally speaking, they could seek a bond if you're not a threat to the community. You're not a threat, number one. And number two, you're not a flight risk. You're not going to just run off and go to the fields of Kansas, somewhere in Kansas, and just hide out somewhere on a farm, right? You're not a flight risk. You're settled in your city, in your location. You're not going anywhere, and you're not a danger to society. So if those arguments can be made for you, then a judge who is reasonable will release you from that from detention, and you could continue your case, your processing at USCIS and in the immigration court system. Okay? Freedom now, guys. All right. My I-751 case has been pending for 1,000 days in California. What's going on there? The government gives, unfortunately, the lengthy 48-month extension. 48-month extension. Freedom now, guys. Let's see. I don't know what that drilling. They're doing some work here on this holiday in our building. My apologies for that. If you're hearing that sound, I didn't receive notice that they were going to do this. Okay, let's keep going. Double tap the screen, guys. Public charge, no. Public charge will not impact the I-751 removal of conditions process. I'm a green card holder. Is it safe to travel outside the U.S. if I've been arrested but no conviction? Elda is asking. We would want to take a look at your arrest history. It's still risky. What you can do if you decide that you're going to travel, certainly have your arrest record, your disposition. You have to show what happened, but you don't have you weren't convicted. At the border, customs will want to know how did this end, but you don't want to mess around and get someone at the border who is inexperienced and all that they see is a criminal record, and they arrest you. So make sure you have your paperwork on you showing how things ended, what the charges were, and that you're in the clear. But I actually do not recommend travel at this time for green card holders with any criminal record. I just don't. I don't think that it's that safe. But people are traveling every day, and for many of them, they're fine. But I just want to keep my global tip here about not traveling if you have a criminal record, green card holders. Let's see if we could go down a little bit. My I-130 interview was done before the ban. What's going to happen now? So your I-130 interview, which ban are you connected to? Are you connected to the 39 countries travel ban, or are you connected now to the 75? Because it really depends on the story. So for instance, if you're connected to the 39 travel ban countries, well, they're going to pause moving your case forward during this time until litigation opens up the opportunity again for your case to continue on with the process. But if you're from one of the newly added countries, comprising now of 75 countries, then they're going to keep your case moving. They're going to keep you going. And if you're connected to the visa, if your process is connected to the visa center, they're going to push your case over to the visa center for further processing. You will hear from the NVC. They will want you to pay your fees, take additional steps, provided, of course, that a visa is available for you. And it sounds like a visa is available for you. So they'll keep the process moving. But the big issue is, what will the U.S. Embassy do? What will the embassy do? To answer that question, we have to see what the circumstances are at the time that you go before the U.S. Embassy. Is this pause still in effect or not? For some of us immigration lawyers are advising people not to allow their case to become documentarily qualified at this time at the visa center, so that you don't get an interview date until this is sorted out. That's what some of us are focusing on. Okay, let's go. And I see that okay, let's keep going, guys. Let's keep going. Freedom now. Freedom now. Double tap the screen. Thank you. I can't see the rest of you. Let's go down here. Okay. It's going so fast. Let's see. Is it true that they will call you for your interview and decline to issue the visa? Yes, that is true. Due to the pause. Yes, that is correct. Okay, first super chat question is from Ashmead. Thank you for your super chat. My family completed biometrics for the I-751 removal of conditions on their residence back in December of 2024. Okay, and we haven't heard anything from USCIS yet. Should I be worried? And what should be my next move? Don't be worried. It sounds like obviously you filed the petition was filed in 2024, the year that they called you in for your biometrics. Don't worry about things right now. They're processing your case. It's just that it's 48 months is the lengthy time that they've given for the removal of conditions. Focus on staying out of trouble with the law. And you currently have your extension, so you have all the rights and privileges that you had previously. So hold on to, keep that in mind. You could continue to work. You're safe. You're protected. It's just that it's gonna take a while. Now, what also will be impacting some of these normal cases like yours is the fact that this USCIS has decided that they are going to shift their focus on re-reviewing these old cases for people who are connected to travel ban countries. They're pausing asylum cases to dive deeper and do more comprehensive reviews. So they have shifted a lot of their attention on all these things that have nothing to do with your process. So keep those things in mind as well. What's really going on behind the scenes at USCIS, they have only a certain amount of resources given to them by you guys who file your cases. So they have not doubled and tripled, to my knowledge, their staff in like the last month or two to allow them to keep pace with processing the cases in a normal fashion. They've indicated that they will be slowing down the processing of other cases so that they could do all of these other deep dives and reviews of asylum cases and cases that were approved after President Obama came into went into office. Will they accept a new divorce paperwork if she submitted a new divorce document? Where Okay, so Midiola, thank you so much for your question. The way that I've seen new divorce paperwork come up, the context that I've seen it happen many times is if USCIS had questioned the authenticity of a divorce that you alleged to have had before you married a US citizen who then filed for you. And if they did question it, then you can't just say to them, okay, here's my new divorce decree. Please continue that same process using this new document because you're going to have a problem with the dates. USCIS will still consider you not to have been free to marry the US citizen at the time that you alleged that you were free because you were still married to your spouse, maybe in your foreign country, if that's the case. That's how I've seen this whole divorce problem come up. Work with a lawyer on this case. If you do submit the new document to them and your I-130 was submitted, before this new divorce, they will deny the I-130 case. As well as the adjustment of status case. It's very tricky. Contact us if you'd like some help with this. What about interviews that are scheduled after January 21st? What will happen to those people? If your interview is scheduled, you should go on your interview, and they will place your case on hold until this is resolved, until the pause has been lifted. Another good reason why you should go to the interview then anyway that's already scheduled is if they point out some additional issues or concerns with your case, maybe some documents are not completed properly or they need fresh evidence related to something, they will point those other issues out to you. So it will give you some time to work on some additional issues that they might point out to you. Okay. Thank you guys. Freedom Now. Do not be distracted on TikTok by some MAGA folks who are in the chat there. Do not be distracted by them at this time on TikTok. Let's see. In Nepal, what time of paper they will receive due to visa suspension? What's normally given is some sort of exit letter indicating that your case is in administrative processing if they've interviewed you and they won't give you the visa, and it's related to these bigger policy problems. Will this pause affect citizenship applications, which I answered earlier? You probably already heard that answer, and the answer is no. If you're on that 75 list at this time, it doesn't impact citizenship application. Okay, let's see. Freedom Now. USCIS has contacted my ex-partner, whom I have a VAWA case against, and notified this person of the case. Is that okay from USCIS? Isn't VAWA confidential? That is absolutely not okay. And that should never have happened because the USCIS has very, very strict guardrails to protect victims. I'm really alarmed by that. You should contact us or a lawyer to speak about this. But normally it doesn't happen that way. They normally do not contact your abuser's spouse. Now, For people who are still living with their abusive spouse, this, believe it or not, many times people who are abused, they feel like they can't leave because of financial reasons or because of the children, and so they're still in the house, and it puts them in a very unsafe situation if the government picks up the phone and calls the abuser's spouse who you're still living with. So this is not supposed to happen. I'm really alarmed by that. Um, that's not good. Thank you. Freedom now, guys. Freedom now. Thank you for joining me today on this Martin Luther King holiday. Um, I'm getting a lot of questions about citizenship applications. If you're from one of these 75 countries, here's another one for someone from Belize. At this time, there is no pause on your applications at USCIS for those of the newer countries that have been added. Someone says, I have an EB3 interview on the 21st. As a matter of fact, I have a confirmation letter of my annual salary from the hospital that I've been offered a job. Do you think that they will give me the visa or not? Well, they did say immigrant visas, including employment-based visas, will be paused until they sort out some issues. So, I don't think that you'll be able to get your visa. Mohammed, if it does work out for you, can you please circle back with us on my next show to let us know how it went for you? Okay, we would like to know how this played out for you. Thank you. Let's see. I applied for a green card marriage-based case, but it's pending. However, my husband has cheated on me. Okay, wow. I'm sorry to hear that. The first consideration is, okay, are you guys where are things right now with the two of you? Are you staying in the marriage? Are you going to counseling? Are you What will you guys do? You've got to work out the personal side of things first. Work out the personal side of things. And depending on how things go with that discussion on the personal side, then engage an immigration lawyer to find out what your options are. I would say that, the petitioner carries the weight. The petitioner is in a lot of control with an I-130 case. But if with this marriage-based petition, sometimes individuals can pick up the pieces, however, and then go on their own with a VAWA case based on the fact that they've suffered abuse in the marriage. Infidelity in and of itself is not considered abuse by this government, by USCIS. We would be looking to see what else is going on. What else is he controlling? Is he really vindictive and cruel and mean to you? What examples do you have of his behavior aside from the infidelity, of course? How does he treat you? What type of atmosphere do you have in the home? Is it threatening? Is it oppressive? There's so much, right, that could be told. And so if you have other things going on, of course you could pick up the pieces and pursue a VAWA case on your own, and you do not have to feel locked in to an abusive spouse and your future could be secure here through the VAWA process. Freedom now, guys. Thank you so much for being with me today on this Martin Luther King holiday. Thank you. I filed for my immigrant visa. Have been since July 2025. I'm waiting on the NVC. Am I affected? July 2025. Are you documentarily qualified yet? And which country are you from? If you're from one of those countries that are the 75 countries, well, you will be affected if the pause is still in effect by the time you get your interview. Let's see. VAWA received by USCIS from June 30th. Still no receipt. What can I do? The receipts are taking a long time. The humanitarian cases are not prioritized by this government at this time. And so they are taking several months for some cases to get the VAWA, even the VAWA receipt. So it doesn't mean, however, that your case was not properly filed. Just hang in there for just a little bit longer, okay? Let's see. Freedom Now. When will this visa pause finish or end? Munif is asking. I don't know. Our government has said it's indefinite. Some speculation by one foreign ambassador that I saw on social media, can't verify this at all, said it's possible that it's going to be 60 days, but that's not, I can't verify that. I'm waiting for the US government to give us more information on when it will end. Okay. How long does it take for the I-485 adjustment of status to be approved by USCIS after the I-130 has been approved? Normally, it happens very quickly right away. Most times they do approve both together. They're or shortly thereafter, your I-485 should be approved. I would want to know how long it's been since you had gotten that I-130 approval, yet you're still waiting on the 485. You could have an appointment with us so that we could go a little bit further. Okay. Um, I'm not sure what Sophie is saying here. Sophie says, I've had a domestic violence case in 1999. Okay. I'm a US citizen and I'm sponsoring my spouse who's in the Ghana Armed Forces. Okay. So, Sophie, you got your green card through the VAWA process back in 1999. Then you eventually became a US citizen and now you're sponsoring your spouse who is in the armed forces. Um, I think you'll be fine with your case. I'm curious to know whether you had an I-130 through a marriage case before you filed VAWA. But I think you'll be fine. If you have specific concerns, speak one-on-one with us about those specific concerns. Immigration is pretty much on pause for the next 3 years, JB says here. A lot of what they're doing, obviously, it's clear, crystal clear to us, is they are trying to shut things down on a number of fronts. Congress mandated that this immigration process is something that should happen. And so it's happening, right? It's happening, and it's very hard for them to justify a real pause of 3 years. That's a very hard thing for them to do. There's litigation happening in a number of ways, okay? Also, the immigration court process is also a way that some people are getting their status, and that process is definitely not stopping. The removal process. USCIS is mandated by Congress to review benefit applications. That's their sole job. And you've paid your fees, and what are they going to do all day? What are they going to do all day if they're not looking at your applications and processing your case? Why are they there then? Why are they showing up to work? They have a congressional mandate to do their work. U.S. embassies are also mandated to do their work as well. So, but the attempt is definitely there. The writing is on the wall. It's on the wall, right? If someone has a pending asylum case, can they now switch to an employment green card without leaving the United States? US The only real issue that comes up in a situation like that is USCIS doesn't consider the asylum case to be a period where they could count it as you having lawful status for the purpose of adjusting your status and getting the green card here through the employment-based process. So that's the big wrinkle with a case like that. Can my wife, who is a U.S. citizen, still file for my son with the I-130? My son is in Burkina Faso. Yes, your wife should go ahead and get the case started for your son. Is Burkina Faso, is that that's on the list? It's on the list, right? Um, I believe it's on the list. Let's just go back here, countries, immigrant visa. But yeah, the I-130 process can certainly be started. Is Burkina Faso on the list, guys? I don't see it here. Barbados, Belarus, Belize, Bhutan, Bosnia, Brazil, Burma, Cambodia. Did I miss it? Have I missed it? This is in alphabetical order. Anyway, whether or not it's on the, I don't see it on the list though, but she can file. She could file for the child. On the first list? Oh, it's on the part of the 39. Thank you. Let's see something here. Which list is this? Yes, it's on the fully restricted list. I'm so glad I kept these graphics in here. It's Burkina Faso is on the fully restricted, the full ban list. So they're not processing the applications at this time, but it doesn't mean that you can't submit it. You should submit it because litigation is going on addressing this the pause on the I-130 and other applications at USCIS for those from the 39 countries. Okay, thank you. Let's see. I'm going to go down a little bit. What do I think about TPS for Haiti? Carla is asking. Carla, I'm optimistic, cautiously optimistic, waiting for something from the court. I'm cautiously optimistic as we approach February. So that's how I'm feeling. That's just my feeling that they might delay it a bit through the litigation. Let's just see. Let's just see. Okay. Oh, I heard that a lot. That's folks from St. Kitts. They're really upset with me. I'm getting all this stuff. Yeah, they're not right now, but they're upset with me because I shared that their own country leader has decided that they could accept. They are doing one of those asylum agreements with the U.S. government to accept deportees and from the U.S. and saying that those folks can seek asylum here, and they must be from one of these countries here in the Caribbean. That's part of this group that we have here of countries here in the Caribbean. Everybody but Haitians. That's what their leader said. He said it out of his own mouth. That's their policy. And I reiterated it in a video. And some people are really upset with me for sharing that news, but I think you have a right to know. It was funny, though, the things I'm getting. You guys have no idea. Okay, let's go. Let's go down. Someone says, I'm in big trouble, 7 months pregnant, so sad for me. Judith, you could speak with the lawyer to see what else is going on there, okay? To see if there's any way that you could be helped. What about if my wife has an interview? She is a mother of a US child and wife for US husband. Her interview is coming up. Um, so immigrant, as long as it's an immigrant visa, that's what matters. And that's what the pause is on. It doesn't matter that you're connected, you're an immediate relative of a US citizen. There's no exception here for even that category. My wife applied for the I-130 and my country's on the partial travel ban list, Burundi. Can the process still work for you? The process can still work, but what you should know is if you're on that, since Burundi is on that partial travel ban list, at this time, they're not moving forward with those applications until litigation really places an injunction, okay? Places an injunction on those types of cases. Excuse me, I'm here trying to keep this one going. Perfect. Okay. I have a pending case with USCIS. Can I travel around the country? I don't, I just don't think it's a great idea for people who are not documented to be traveling around at this time. It's just, I don't think it's such a safe time to be traveling. Okay. Okay, let's go. My husband applied for his 10-year green card from September 2025. USCIS sent him a letter saying it's extended for 48 months. That's good. This is the removal of conditions process. September this year will be 3 years that we've been married and still together. Can he file for his citizenship? What you're looking for, Jennifer, is what it's how long has he been a resident, right? It's is he at that 2 years, 9 months of being a resident? Is he at that 2 year or 3 year mark of being a resident? Then he could do the citizenship application, the N-400. That's really what they're looking at. After my marriage interview, I received a mail reminding me of another interview which will be rescheduled and am not aware of it. So you've had a marriage interview, I'm assuming at USCIS, and then they sent you a second interview notice? I received a mail reminding me of another interview, which will be rescheduled. That's the part that's throwing me off, the reschedule part. I'm not sure what you mean by the reschedule in there. But if you had already been interviewed and they've sent you another interview notice, speak with someone about that, okay, before you go to that second interview. Okay, let's go down a little bit. I have a lot of questions in front of me about how long will the pause last? How long will it last? I've already addressed that many times, indicating that it's indefinite by the US government. That's their word. That's what they're saying. Other people are speculating that it's 60 days, but I can't verify. I can't verify that at this time. Going down. Um, just so you know, I saw a question here on Instagram about son is in the military. What's the process? The military, whatever that branch is, they have their own office and a way to work on those cases for members of the military. So your son should speak with his colleagues there to do it, to work on your case. Otherwise, you could certainly work with an immigration lawyer privately to have your case, your adjustment of status case filed. What if you just got married on a tourist visa and haven't filed yet? Is it okay to travel back home? So you came to the United States on your tourist visa, you got married, you'd like to travel back home. That does happen very frequently. Um, the question, your spouse here in the United States will be able to file an I-130 for you still, and I think you'll be okay. I think you'll be fine. You didn't come here to the US with the intent to get married, and you didn't tell customs that, oh, I'm coming in to get married, right? Then none of that happened, so I'm assuming. If that didn't happen, like that, of course, and you didn't lie to customs, because that's when they begin to pull the records and all of that. It can get a little ugly, but most people are really fine in a situation like that. Thank you guys for being here today. Type in freedom now. Also, if you have any good news to share, share it with us. Share it with us. Your good news, which I had one here in front of me too that I wanted to share with you guys. Yesterday, we had our success story go out, and it involved a client from St. Lucia, and she was approved for her green card after her adjustment of status application was denied through filing before they came to us. And she entered the United States in 2001, overstayed her visa, and faced years of complications tied to an old family petition. They missed deadlines with the government. They later filed again through her daughter, U.S. citizen daughter, but there were filing errors that were associated with the case, adjustment of status, so that was denied. It was denied without a notice of intent to deny. And so when they came to us, we looked at things and we filed a motion to reopen the case. It was reopened, and they were scheduled for an interview. Then an RFE was issued. We addressed the RFE, and she finally got her green card this month. So take a look at our website at McBeanlaw.com/success to see that story with the more details that we shared about that story. Things are still happening. The system is still working. Cases are still being approved, even challenging cases. So don't hesitate to file your case after getting good legal counsel about whether you should file a case or not. All right. Can I still file for my daughter from Jamaica right now? Someone's asking on TikTok. Yes, you can. You can start the process. You can go ahead and file that I-130 for your child in Jamaica. Can I please drop the website? Our website, it's McBean.com, McBeanlaw.com. I'm sorry. So it's McBeanlaw.com. You'll find the information in the bio of our app here, of the TikTok bio page. Let's see. Let's see. I filed for VAWA, and I've got divorced now from that person. Do I need to update USCIS by sending them the divorce document? No, don't send the government any document that they have not yet asked for. You'll have an opportunity to update them if they call you in for an interview, or if they send you a request for evidence. But do not send them the document without them asking for it after you've filed a case, because that could actually slow it down, the case, friends. Thank you. Can ICE detain a person already released on bond? Can they do it? They could try. Yes, they can. They can do that if they chose to. And there's ways of fighting that if that does happen. It doesn't often happen that way. Once you're in the removal system, that's really what they initially want to do, get you into the removal system. And you were there, you were detained by them, then you got released by the judge, and for them to go and re-detain you, it's very rare, okay? But it can happen, but it is rare. Can I file for my husband? I'm a naturalized citizen. Can I file for my Jamaican husband? Diana is asking. I'm a naturalized citizen since 2022. Yes, you could still file for him. Yes. Guys, the eligibility has not changed. You can still file. The requirements haven't changed. You could still file for your spouse, your children, your parent. You could still file for your siblings. You could still file. You could still submit your applications. I want to move to a different state for a job. Will it be a problem for my I-751 petition? Um, it might not be a problem for you, okay? It's natural and normal for people to move. What I'm curious about is your spouse going to move with you, right? Is your spouse moving with you? Are you moving your family with you to the new state? Because that's where it gets they could query and you along the lines of what's going on here. What's really the intention here? Are you still together for real or not? So it could still work out if your spouse doesn't move with you to the other state, but just anticipate explaining, well, when will that happen? How frequently are you guys seeing each other? What's the long-term plan here? They will go there if they call you in for an interview. Okay. Okay, let's go down here. Do I think they will increase the income requirements? Adam is asking. So, Adam, every year, the poverty guidelines change and the income requirements go up just slightly. I haven't heard any news about them dramatically increasing it. It is based on the guidelines that are set by another agency, Health and Human Services, I believe. Could be wrong about that. But it's not something that I think that they could get away with if they were to dramatically increase it. What they do is they put additional factors in there. They put factors about education, age, your health, right? They put additional factors in there to get more information from applicants to then come to a conclusion that, oh, this person's overweight. So most likely that person's going to eventually have diabetes, heart problems, this and that. They're going to eventually become a public charge. Or this person had a serious illness in his or her background, and if they come to the United States, most likely they're going to need long-term care and benefits and all of that. So they are likely to become a public charge. So in that instance, it's not really about the income; it's about these other factors. That's what this is all. This is where it's going with the new rules that are coming very soon. Doing a removal of conditions waiver, is it supposed to be done before the 90 days renewal notice? Um, the question is 90 days renewal notice, or can it be filed? Uh, the questions are coming in kind of fast there, and I didn't see the end of it. Um, I'm not sure what you're asking. So you have your you can still file your I-751 removal of conditions within that 90-day window, if that's what you're asking, even though you're doing it as a waiver. Can you help if someone gets in 221G administrative processing? Yes, we can help. Yes. Yes. So you could reach out to us for further assistance if you're in 221G administrative processing after having been interviewed at a U.S. embassy around the world. Are there any changes for gay marriages in Pennsylvania? I don't know what's going on a state level, but as you know, the U.S. Supreme Court years ago have said that the states must recognize gay marriages, but I don't know what's happening there in Pennsylvania specifically. Immigration does recognize gay marriage as well. The key is The marriage has to be legal in the location where it occurred in order for immigration to recognize it as well. Let's see. Married in 2014, have a pending green card case. I don't know how, um, couldn't catch the rest of your question there. I'm getting more questions about what do I think will happen with TPS for Haitians. I don't know what will happen. I do feel cautiously optimistic that there will be a delay by the court, to push it off a little bit. The termination of TPS, that's really what I'm holding on to right now. My own little feeling here. I'm getting a lot of removal of conditions questions. What is the first step if you have TPS and your spouse is filing for you? The first step is to file the I-130 and adjustment of status application if you're eligible for adjustment of status, and get that case in as soon as possible. I do know, of course, that Haiti is on the travel ban list and they're not moving forward with the cases right now, but litigation is in. And other litigation is forming around that whole pause at USCIS. So you could still get your case processed, get your case into the government, processed by an attorney, and get it into the government. Thank you, guys. Someone says, true talk, and whoever vex, vex. You guys, I like that. Yeah, if they, you tell the truth and they're upset, they get vexed. What are you gonna do? What am I gonna do? Sit and cry? Yeah, I don't care. You get vexed, right? Thank you for that comment. Thank you for that. I mean, people don't like the truth. I didn't make up these rules. I wasn't the one who said everybody can come in from the US except Haitians. That wasn't my doing. Those are people in power who made that decision. I just said, oh, here's what they did. And then you get upset with me because I said, here's what they did. It's crazy. Oh, it's crazy. But we laugh about it behind the scenes all the time. Your negative comments, the nasty things you say about me in DMs. Most times I don't even see it. My team sees it. Those who monitor the DMs, they see it. Sometimes they show it to me. Other times they just said, oh, we're going to block this person. She doesn't need to know that this person said this or that. I have shield, guys. Thank God. I have people helping to shield me from the nastiness that I face so frequently. So, but we laugh about it like, oh my gosh, really? What? We laugh. So haters, you're making us laugh behind the scenes. Let's see. My son has an interview for February 19th scheduled in Jamaica. Should he still go? I think he should still go. I think that just keep the process moving if they've already scheduled you for an interview, him for an interview. Lawyers are gearing up to challenge the lawsuit. Yes, lawyers are gearing up. There are various challenges that some lawyers are preparing right now, actually, to challenge some of these draconian policies. Do we help with the N-400 applications? Yes, we do. Yes. How long after becoming a citizen can you sponsor your mother and brother, or can you do them at the same time? You could file for them right away. You could file for them right away. Your mother will obviously get through faster because she's an immediate relative of a U.S. citizen. The sibling, unfortunately, will take many years to process, 13 years, 12 years. It really depends on the country, but you could get their I-130 in and get those cases moving, okay? Let's see. Here's my second super chat, and it's from Woodland Oliver. Okay. This person says, I'm from Haiti. I came here as a student, and I have TPS right now. And I also have a pending asylum case. I got married this month. Is my case looking good? You can get through. I think that, now I don't know how you entered the United States. You could still get your green card through your spouse once this pause has been lifted, of course. You're on track. Are you married to a U.S. citizen? And did you say you came here as a student, so I'm assuming with the F1 student visa, so you had lawful entry to the US. So you should be eligible to adjust your status through your spouse once this pause is lifted. So I think it is looking good for you. Now, you applied for asylum. That could just be the only little wrinkle. Here's how I can think that the asylum case can be the only little wrinkle. If the asylum case is not approved by USCIS, they will place you in removal proceedings. Okay, and that could overly complicate your journey to a green card through your US citizen spouse if your spouse is a US citizen. That's because then the jurisdiction shifts to the immigration court system, and that changes your strategy. So you strategically, strategically, there has to be a point where the asylum case will need to be withdrawn so that USCIS doesn't get to the point of saying we're going to shift this case into the removal system. That's a one-on-one strategy process that you and your lawyer will need to address. Okay? But that's a good question. I think you're on track, and I'm happy for you. That's great. I'm happy for you. But be strategic with regard to the asylum case. Will someone with an already approved or given visa from Nigeria still has to pay the visa bond? I don't believe so. So the bond, it happens, the determination about whether this is still new, guys. I don't even fully understand or heard on the ground how things are playing out with this bond across the globe. Well, across Africa, because mainly African countries are facing this bond. But the issue is, at the time of your interview for the visitor visa, that officer will make the determination whether you should be given a bond or not, whether you should have one applied to you or not. And so you already have your visa. So I think you're in the clear there. You're in the clear there. But, there's other problems too with regard to Nigeria, but you're in the clear there as it relates to the visa bond. And of course, it can come up during the renewal process, right, for visa. Third super chat question from Pink Room Studios says, I had my N400 interview and got approved along with my 10-year green card. I got a notice. So this sounds like this person did the removal of conditions and N400 process together. So that's why you're hearing the fact of 10-year green card that she got, and she had done an N400 interview. Then she says, I got a notice that my 10-year green card will be mailed to me, but then my oath ceremony was canceled. Will the 10-year green card still arrive? What are my next steps moving forward? Now, are you from are you from one of those 39 countries like Nigeria or one of those countries? Because those are the ones where the oath ceremonies have been canceled. I do think that once there's an injunction on that USCIS pause, you will be scheduled for another oath ceremony so that you can get your naturalization. You have they approved the green card, of course, and they approved your naturalization. And my thinking is that you're going to be naturalized, but the pause is what interfered with your process here. That's what I think is going on here. So watch the pause very carefully. And once it's lifted, I really do think that you're going to get another ceremony scheduled for your naturalization. Okay? This is what people are faced with now, guys. They've done everything right. They went through the process. They paid their fees. They told the truth on their applications. They've done everything right. And that at the last hour, USCIS has canceled their oath ceremony. I've even heard reports that they've removed people from the room at at their office. They've taken people out of the process who were there that day to be sworn in. It's such an injustice right now. So just watch the pause litigation. And if they send you a green card instead, you could contact us one-on-one, and also so that we could really dive a little deeper, but update us too here on YouTube about how things shaked out for you, okay? Thank you. Can an ITIN holder apply for a green card? The record is clean. So if you're eligible for a green card, you can apply for a green card, even though you have an ITIN, which is only for the purpose of allowing you to pay taxes. It's just a way for you to pay taxes. It doesn't provide any other opportunity, really, aside from reporting and paying your taxes. Is it possible for a green card holder to come back to the United States? Yes, green card holders can enter the United States. Yes. Is there a class action regarding the 75 country freeze? Though there's firms gearing up for such a purpose. Not filed yet, but gearing up. Because remember, this is going into effect starting Wednesday. Okay. So stay tuned for more information about that. Yes, we work on N400. Someone says, love your channel, very informative. Thank you, Amanda, for being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, thank you. Next super chat question says, it's from Blessed and Highly Favored 03. If TPS for Haiti doesn't get renewed and some Haitians decide to stay illegally, will they be banned for 10 years before their children can file for them? Now, that's a new idea. I've not heard that. I've not heard that before. I don't want to give anyone any ideas, but I have not heard that one before. There's nothing that exists that says that you'll be banned before your children can file for you. If you stay here in the United States illegally, they can place you in removal proceedings and let a judge issue a removal order against you. If you're here illegally and they know that. And my suspicion is that obviously with TPS, they have a laundry list of who these individuals are with TPS, because every cycle you submit a renewal with your information on it and they know you. So if they know that, if they don't have a record of you departing, then their next step will be, for some people, is to place them in removal proceedings. So let a judge sort it out, is what the government's approach is. And if you have an opportunity for a child who's 21 or older to file for you, who's a U.S. citizen, well, you can pursue that case. But if your child is young, and now you have to wait for the child to grow up and add years to his or her life, well, then the question is, well, what are you going to do in the meantime? How safe will you be here in the United States? What opportunities for relief will you have in immigration court during these years that you're waiting for your child to grow up? Will a judge agree to administratively close your case to give you some time? If so, Why would the judge do that? Those are the questions we would be asking ourselves. Well, how can we convince a court to administratively close your case to give your child 5 more years to turn 21? So it's going to be determined, blessed, on an individual basis, but I have not heard that you're going to be banned, parents will be banned if they decide to stay in the United States. Okay. Uh, Someone has circled back via the super chat. I like that. You guys should do that. You guys should do that. It's good. Gets your issue right back before me. So Woodland is also saying, yes, I was correct earlier when I said it was lawful entry. Yes, it was a lawful entry, and spouse is a U.S. citizen, and we're planning to withdraw the asylum case after the green card gets approved. Is that a bad strategy? That's not a bad strategy. During normal times, that would be the way to go. During these times, what you have to watch for and be careful about is the speed of how they're moving with the asylum cases at USCIS. Right now, they said we've paused. We're just doing a deeper dive. We paused these cases, but in truth, what they're also doing is they're trying to close out these asylum cases from people who had TPS or parole, and now trying to close them out and shift them into the removal system. So you have to watch those dynamics as well, because you wouldn't want your asylum case to be caught up in those happenings. So during normal times, yes, this would be definitely the strategy, the way to go. Wait until you get your green card before withdrawing the asylum case. But today, you kind of have to pay attention to additional happenings at USCIS and how they're treating asylum cases from people who came to the U.S. on parole or they're on TPS. Awesome. I think that means you've put some coins, I don't know, there on TikTok. Thank you for that. Can those who won the DV lottery still travel to the United States? If they won the lottery, they must be interviewed by September 30th of the year that, the DV lottery was won. So the big problem there is, well, which country are they from? And also, yet because if they're caught up in one of these pauses, that's going to be the biggest issue with respect to them being able to get their visa in time, the immigrant visa in time. What's happening with the K-1 visa? I haven't heard anything unusual and new going on with K-1s. Freedom now, Michelle. For legal aliens, is there a delay in receiving your renewed green card? Yeah, it takes forever. It's taken a long time, even before Trump came into office. But you could, you'll get your receipt notice, number one. And then also, if you need additional protection and proof, what you could do is make an InfoPass appointment and get a stamp in your passport. Okay, let's see. Freedom Now. Thank you for joining me on this Martin Luther King holiday. If it wasn't for Dr. King, I wouldn't be here with you right now in this country. We're seeing bad things happen here, but today is a holiday, and I just want to give a tribute also to the civil rights movement, which made it possible for a lot of us to be able to do the good work that we're able to do now. Of course, of course, by the grace of God. Obviously, you guys know I'm going to give God the glory, number one. Number one, hello. And then secondarily, for all those who paved the way along the way, like Dr. King did. So our office is closed and today for this federal holiday, but the phone lines are still open. You could call and book an appointment with us today until 8 p.m. Our phone lines are open. And the rest of the team will be back to work tomorrow morning. Thank you. What happens if you have a green card, but you still got caught by ICE? Well, you inform them. ICE will if ICE will look in the system to see that what your alien number is and to see that you're a resident and you should be released. However, they have a right to detain you if you have a removable offense on your record and they want to place you in the removal system, but you can get out through a bond. And we've helped people with green cards who are going through the removal process. You're welcome, Diana. Thank you for being here with your question. Thank you for circling back. Okay, let's see. Hold on a second. I got married in November 2025. Should I still file at this point or should I wait? If you're available, now is the time to get it in. While the opportunities are here, I think we've got people should file their cases while the opportunity is available. Our K-1 visas also pause. K-1s are non-immigrant visas and they are not paused. They should not be paused. But if there's any additional updates that I receive about the K-1, I will share it with you. Will a marriage-based petition affect a pending asylum case? No, it won't affect a pending asylum case. Just the way that it can affect it. However, guys, with everything, there's always, that's just how it is. However, the way that it can affect it is if you give inconsistent information to the government on your applications, then they could say, wait a minute, what's going on here? Let's see, can I do a quick, I'm gonna go ahead to do that. Okay, Mary, I've answered that one. Your channel has been a place of comfort for me. I may not like the news, but you help me understand it and give me hope, I think. Thank you for that. Thank you. Thank you to all of you who are here today. I'm seeing a lot of questions about the fact that people want to file an I-130 for their spouse, but they are afraid, they don't know if they should. Like I said, I really think you should file a case if you're eligible for that filing. What if I have a closed asylum case and I'm married now with my naturalized wife? What is the process? So this person is married to a U.S. citizen, has an asylum case that he says is closed. Closed where? In court? If it's administratively closed in removal proceedings, did the government not place you back on the calendar? Because last year summer, they said that they were going to place all of those administratively closed cases back on the calendar for the docket for you guys to have dates coming up to move your case forward. So check on that to see if that happened, if that applies to you. In any event, your spouse can file an I-130 for you. But then if you're in removal, we would be considering whether you're an arriving alien or not. If you're an arriving alien, USCIS can agree to approve a green card application agree to review your green card application and make a decision on it, the adjustment of status case. And you could actually get a green card through USCIS despite the fact that you're in removal. That's how it used to work during normal times. Now it's risky to go to USCIS under certain circumstances like that because they are trying to set up arrests at their office for people with a removal in the removal system, or with a removal order, I should say. So speak with a lawyer before you approach USCIS. The removal case at some point will need to be terminated or dismissed. So you have a number of things going on. You're going to need some real help, and you can reach out to us if you'd like for us to unpack your history and to see what your strategy could very well be. Thank you, guys. Friends, we've been together for an hour and a half now. We're going to wrap up. Thank you so much for watching today. Thank you for joining this program. We're here for you at McBean Law. You can reach out to us at 914-898-9488 or go to McBeanLaw.com, where you will fill out our form if you choose to, and we'll call you back and schedule your appointment. Thank you so much. I will be live on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook periodically throughout the week. So follow me on social media as well at McBean Immigration Law. Thanks, guys, so much for being here. Share this information with others, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.